Hello, and welcome to Mobility Now, a show brought to you by the Houston-Galveston Area Council. I'm your host, Alan Clark, HJC's Director of Transportation. Today's show is focused on Houston-TranStar, a unique agency combining critical functions of transportation and emergency management under one roof. Let's get started with a short video on Houston-TranStar.
Houston-TranStar provides transportation and emergency management services to our region. TranStar gives travelers the information they need to get where they're going, while providing residents vital updates in times of crisis. To manage traffic, TranStar uses freeway cameras, high-occupancy vehicle lanes, speed sensors, and electronic message signs. TranStar offers drivers personalized traffic updates by email or text message at no charge. All of Metro's buses are dispatched from TranStar.
Metro's presence at TranStar is part of our commitment to deliver first-class transit services to our customers. Having Metro's bus operations at TranStar allows our dispatchers to reroute buses away from accidents when they occur, and also to open the HOV lanes when an accident causes severe traffic congestion.
To clear minor traffic problems, TranStar uses MAP, the Motorist Assistance Program, and SafeClear. Both services get drivers out of danger and reduce traffic congestion.
It's been said that Houston has 2 evacuations each day, as 1 million people come to work and then go home. TranStar keeps traffic moving by monitoring and addressing problem areas to get travelers out of harm's way.
On TranStar's website, a real-time speed map gives web visitors current traffic conditions, including speeds and accidents. A mobile application is available for mobile devices.
When hurricanes, floods, or other natural or man-made disasters occur, the Emergency Operations Center at Houston-TranStar acts as the region's response hub, using closed-circuit cameras, Doppler radar, a flood warning system, and other tools to monitor conditions and inform the public.
As congestion continues to worsen in our area and the challenge of making sure we have the mobility that makes a good economy and a good quality of life, TranStar is going to become an even more important asset to us in terms of bringing together all the different folks who are responsible for moving people around this region and giving them a common meeting ground and a place where they can work together to move people efficiently, effectively, and safely.
Houston-TranStar's efforts result in cleaner air, less congestion, safer roads, and real-time emergency information for you.
My guest today is Jack Whaley, Director of Houston-TranStar. He leads a team of professionals specialized in innovative systems that help improve mobility in our region. Jack, welcome to Mobility Now.
Thanks for having me on the program.
Jack, let's start off by just letting you tell us what or who TranStar is.
Well, TranStar started in 1993 when the City of Houston, TxDOT, Metro, and Harris County all signed an agreement to cooperate together and share the resources in transportation. And we've done that ever since. To that point, we even shared the cost on building the center that we work out of. And as we do in everything, we brought in some federal help, some federal dollars, and then split the rest of the cost among those 4 agencies. And one of the first things we did was to build a $14 million center over on Katy Road. And we've been operating out of that center since 1996.
Jack, we just saw a little footage about what is going on in TranStar, but can you tell me a little more clearly, what are the primary functions or responsibilities of the personnel at TranStar?
We were the first in the country to combine emergency management and transportation management. So if you go over there on a day-to-day basis, you'll see 24 hours of transportation management. We are the ones that are looking on the freeways to see where the wrecks are and dispatch people out to clear up the wrecks and the heavy wrecker dispatches. We clean up the the regular cars that just have a crash, or even the large semi-tractor trailer trucks. And then, of course, when the hurricanes come, then it's a whole different type of operation. Then we are tasked, ever since Rita, we've been tasked with the evacuation of this region. And as you know, after Rita, the policies changed, and we were tasked with a much larger area than we had originally thought we were assigned to do. Originally, we worked within the urban area of Houston, and with hurricanes coming in off the Gulf, then we have to look at a bigger region. We actually are in communication with places as far away as Dallas and San Antonio, and we are coordinating with the people in Austin. Makes it very different than just the day-to-day work that we do with the people of Houston.
Well, TranStar is now, you're saying, a regional agency.
That's
You're
right.
actually looking at traffic conditions, not just in the city of Houston, but in a larger area, especially if there's an evacuation event.
Yeah, especially with evacuation, but even on a daily basis, we have sensors as far north as Dallas and almost to San Antonio. So we're covering the whole southeast part of Texas. And that's so that during those evacuations, even if something should come into Louisiana, those people will be coming our way, and we'll have to manage those people to send them on to parts further north and west of the region.
And TranStar, you said, is staffed by, well, not just one agency, but 4 different organizations.
Right, 4 different agencies. We actually have 11 different departments out of 4 different agencies. And they'll range anywhere from different police agencies to transit agencies, both rail and bus. We also have the traffic managers who deal with traffic signals and the timing, and then the emergency management groups that bring in a whole host of resources when they're needed.
When we come back, more about Houston TranStar. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Mobility Now. My guest, Jack Whaley of Houston TranStar, and I are discussing technologies that help improve mobility for our region. Jack, we were just talking about how TranStar monitors traffic conditions on our freeway system, but what actually happens when one of your technicians sees a wreck, say out on the Katy Freeway?
Well, in the past, what would happen would be that someone would have to call into 911, and then the police would get the call and they would send somebody out, and then they would call back and say, oh, I need this resource and that resource, and this is what we've seen. Well, what we've tried to do is just cut across all of that. And when we see something on the freeway, then we're doing dispatch immediately. First thing that happens is that somebody will see it, he'll start entering it into the computer systems, and then it will pop up on all those agencies that we talked about. It'll pop up on their consoles.
You mean like the fire department, the police department, people like that?
That's right. Everybody that's on the console floor, on the control room floor, will see what's going on, and they'll decide, okay, whose jurisdiction is this? And then, depending on where it is and what it is, they'll start to respond. And all of that going back and forth of finding out what it is and radio back, we just cut all of that out. And that way we can get a faster response time. Now, typically in traffic, we talk about traffic planning and traffic operations and maintenance. Well, we're in the transportation management business. After the road has been planned out and after the resources are out there, the one thing that we don't want to happen is to have congestion on the freeways, because that's just pavement that's not being used. And so we are one of those few disciplines in traffic where we're judged by what doesn't happen instead of what we do get to happen. So we're judged on how much time you did not have to spend in traffic coming into work, and how much time that or how much gas you didn't have to burn on the way in, and how much pollution didn't happen. So to do that, we've got to keep the pavement clear. And to do that, we've got to respond in as big a hurry as we can. So, for instance, if there happens to be a stalled vehicle, something as simple as a stalled vehicle, then for every minute that you're out there stuck in traffic, then you have several minutes of congestion that builds up behind that. So we will work very diligently and as quickly as we can with a lot of practice, since we have thousands of these things happen every year. And in that way, we can keep the traffic moving across that pavement. And we found that is much more cost effective than even making the roads wider, or even stacking on lanes and bridges on top of each other.
Well, of course, some of our roads we can't make any wider, at least not in ways that are easy for me to see. And I can sure see why it would be important to have the right people bringing the right equipment to the right location so that we minimize that traffic buildup. In fact, I've heard that one of the leading causes of traffic accidents can be another accident.
That's
people
right.
in the queue behind that traffic crash.
That's right. And every month we have a summary meeting of what happened over the last month. And so the police departments and the fire departments and the traffic managers will all gather around the table, and we'll talk about the cases that took the longest and how could we improve that. And sometimes you can improve, sometimes you can't. But by getting that personal relationship between the operators, we found that we've been able to improve our response time.
So you're talking about training and of emergency responders?
That's right. Training and communications. You'll see if you go around the country, there are several centers around the country, and we pride ourselves that we have all these people under one roof. And one of the things that does for us is that puts together these personal relationships. So if I'm sitting at a console for the city and I'm across the aisle from somebody from the state, then I know him. I worked with him before, and it's easy to ask for help. And it's much easier than if I got on the phone and just called him up. And so we've been able to reduce our times significantly, and as compared to other places, even the large centers like New York and Los Angeles, where you would find a place where the state had a center, and then the toll road had a center, and then the city had a center. Well, we're bringing that all together. And we've been able to not only save money because of combined resources, but I think we've been even more efficient in our responses and more timely.
Well, I know that our freeways cost billions of dollars to build, and just someone stopped by the side of the roadway because they ran out of gas can bring a whole lane of traffic to a stop. In fact, one thing I was impressed about was what you call the Motorist Assistance Program. What is that program designed to do?
The Motorist Assistance Program, again, was created several years ago, and it's one of the most popular with the drivers in this region. It actually takes a good example of what we're all about. Mm-hmm. We have the Sheriff's Office manning trucks that respond to people who have stalls, who have gotten some sort of mechanical problems. Even if you've run out of gas, mm-hmm. They're there to come to your aid. And they will man the trucks, they'll come out and help you. But if you call 713, call MAP, that will actually be answered by a TxDOT employee who will then get on the county radio frequency, call the county sheriff's department. Actually, he will talk directly to the officer that's going to respond to you. And then the Transit Authority, Metro, has put up money to pay some of the salaries of the sheriff so that he doesn't have to take that on by himself. We also have some private partners in that program donating cell phones to the officers, so if you're stuck on the side of the road, you can call your husband or your wife.
Oh, wow.
And we've had donations over the years, And it's a large program that no one agency could really take on by itself. And so we've been able to split that up. And they've been able to assist over 40,000 people every year. And when you combine that with what we're doing with the SafeClear program that the city started several years ago, we have over 90,000 responses that we're handling out of the center.
So 90,000 people a year. And SafeClear is the program that helps with people whose vehicle really needs to be removed from the highway.
That's right.
Maybe because it was in a crash or whatever the repair is, couldn't do it there on the side of the road.
Right. If you need a tow truck, then SafeClear is there with a tow truck. And the city actually changed their ordinances to take advantage of the infrastructure that we already had there, so that the city did not have to pay for an expensive video system. They just used what we already had and what TxDOT had put in place over the years.
That's another good example of having synergy from people working together. And when we come back, more about the innovative ways to mitigate congestion on our roads and highways. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Mobility Now. My guest, Jack Whaley of Houston-TranStar, and I are discussing the information and resources available to the traveling public through Houston-TranStar. Jack, I'm sure a lot of people have seen Houston-TranStar pictures when listening to newscasts in the morning about traffic conditions on their way to work. But that's not the only way that information from TranStar can get to people who need to know about what might be on the road ahead. Can you tell us about some of the other things that you have to give people that advanced look?
Sure. I'm sure that everybody's familiar with the 800 cameras that we have that are broadcast by the local television stations. And we actually have direct links with those television stations. And we have personnel on the floor that are talking directly to the reporters. But that's not the only way that we talk to the public. We have a website where we put all of this information that we've been talking about. When an operator is putting information onto his console, it actually goes over to our website as well. And we have right around 500,000 people that see that website and use it to determine which way to come into work in the morning, that sort of stuff.
This is the website that shows the different colors of traffic speeds on the road system.
That's right. And we've taken that map and we've actually expanded that onto the surface streets here recently. Both the county and the city have deployed technology to record speeds on their roads as well. And so if you coming in to work on the freeway and you can see how fast traffic's going there, and then when you convert over onto a surface street, you can see what that traffic is doing as well. In fact, we even have some mobile users now that you can sign up on our website to get mobile information. And we also have like all of the latest technology of Twitter and Facebook are all in our systems as well. And so we're doing much more communication than we had even thought of when we first started there back 14 years ago. And so we've had to expand our systems, and it's been kind of what they've said is bill it and they will come. We're doing things now that the more that you do, more people expect, and that's reasonable. And with technology, the more that you do, the more that you're capable of doing as well. So,
and Jack, a lot of that information about the whole region is nice, but I'm not really interested in that. I really just want to know about my way to
Your
work.
part of the world,
I'm going
that's
up
right.
59, the Southwest Freeway. And don't you have a way of kind of customizing this information so that I can,
That's right.
get it on my cell phone, that sort of thing?
that's right. Well, you can get it on your cell phone. We also have the ability for you to come on to the website and create your own route to work. And it will give you how much time it's going to take if you take one route versus another route, so you can pick the fastest way
Oh,
to
I can
come
put
in.
my A plan and my B plan
That's
on
right.
there.
And then when somebody wrecks in front of you, you can have your B plan ready to go. And that's been quite a popular product that we've had in the recent parts of our existence. And I say product, although we don't sell any of this stuff. It's all free to the public. As a matter of fact, even the big boys like Google and MapQuest, all those guys get their information from us. So just like the local TV stations are taking our information and making it into a form that's easy for the public to see. Because what we found is we are in the communications business. And as engineers, we're pretty good at gathering that information, but we rely on private industry and the TV stations, radio stations to help us get the message out, whether it's on a daily basis or even when the large disasters come. We will host the local stations. They will actually come over and live with us for a few days, and we encourage that. And that's why when you see the mayor or the county judge talking about the latest hurricane or flooding.
Wildfires a year ago.
Wildfires years ago, that's true. You'll see them talking at the Houston TranStar Center because we have the information flowing into that communications hub.
But if I really just want to know when that 18-wheeler overturned at the 610 loop, I mean, is there a way for me just to get, the alert kind of things?
That's true. You have the option of getting all of our alerts, in which case you would be alerted at all times. But if you're only interested in, say, just which way do you come in? You come
59
in
to
on
Southwest
59 on
Freeway.
Southwest. Well, just get on the website and you can say, I just want to know what's going on this section of the freeway. And by the way, I only want to know when I'm coming into work and when I'm going back home.
Oh,
And
so I don't get buzzed all day long.
Not all day long. So it will just, when you're on the road, then it will start giving you messages of what's going on that particular part of the road.
I wish that traffic congestion was just limited to the city of Houston or Harris County, but you and I both know that's not true. And in fact, on other episodes, we've talked about the need to improve corridors all the way down to Freeport, all the way up to Conroe. What about TranStar, its plans for the future?
We have some expansion plans of not only the center, and we do have plans to expand the center because of the extra demand that's put on. But I think even more significant than that are the plans we have to coordinate with the smaller centers in the region. As you know, this region is growing by leaps and bounds. And just in the 8 counties surrounding Harris County, we have such a population growth that the smaller regions, or smaller parts of the region, are expanding and building their own smaller centers. And so we are connecting with them because we've got the state of Texas working with us and the larger municipalities. So now that Sugar Land is growing, they're building a center and we're connecting with them. Now that the Conroe region is growing, they have a very nice center that they've put together, and we're connecting with them, and we're coordinating our video systems so that they can see what we're doing and we can see what they're doing. And that becomes important, certainly on evacuations. But I've had elected officials come to me and say, well, you're evacuating too many people every day going home. So we practice evacuations every day. So what we're doing today will actually help in those disasters as well.
Those are very exciting plans, Jack, but that's all we have time for today. I'd like to thank again my guest, Jack Whaley, Director of Houston TranStar, for joining us. I'm Alan Clark, HGAC's Director of Transportation. Thank you for watching Mobility Now.